again, all I've ever said with him is that I think that some of people's analysis of him and reaction to him has been mad over-exaggerated. And there'll be people in the chat right now writing, he's the worst goalkeeper we've ever seen. He's not. And that's just proven my point. But he's not even the worst goalkeeper at the club right now.
Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. My name is Joe. That is Stephen Howson. And today, Steve, the window has closed. We're going to be looking at, are Manchester United good enough, basically? We'll go through each section of the pitch and work out, can we finish in European places? Can we actually push up the league with the team we have now and have a little rating of each section of the team? Sound good?
Okay.
Yeah? How are you doing, by the way? Now the dust has settled a little bit on that first portion of the season. Some disasters, some decent performances. The international break's here. The window is closed. How are you doing?
I hate an international break.
Yeah.
I hate this international break. It's pathetic, innit?
It's got some real cheek coming around this early, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We've not even had a month of football yet, and you're sticking your nose in already.
Yeah, and there's been a couple of little... There was a post-season international break as well this year. Go away.
Yeah.
I'm going to start advocating for international... Like, what it needs to be a pure post-season international break. Like the tournaments, so you can truncate... There's a word for you.
Nice.
The season. We can either start it later or finish it earlier. I'd say finish it at the same time and start it a little bit later. Let pre-season elongate a little bit. But every summer is international football.
So it's either all your qualifiers in a month, you play 8 games in a month, you get it out of the way, or you got 8 games in a tournament instead.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
And then you think, because we break now for like, it's a 2-week break for one game.
Yeah.
It feels unproductive, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It feels like, let's pause all of this, let's all go travel, let's have a little bit of getting to know each other, then we'll play a game, and then you've got all your other travel. You could squeeze 3 games in when they're squeezing in that one game. So if you just mushed all that together, and we cracked on, and then you either start the season a bit later, and that's when, because people are like, well, when are they supposed to rest? Then. Yeah. Because you lose all this nonsense, unproductive travel time. Start the season maybe in like back end of September, when the schools go back.
Yeah.
Align it like that.
Put it back there.
Yeah.
Start
and
a term.
then you crack on then, and then every summer you've got international football, and then you can get into the vibe of it. Because I love tournament football, because I can go, okay, we're doing this, and we're going to get into the vibe of it. And you could probably do that. But when it comes just as like you've just got your new signings, you've just got the new...
Sesko's not even started a game yet.
The new smell on the season, and then it's like, oh, international break. Oh, do one.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. But
you're stopping a rhythm.
Maybe it gives time for the likes of Lomans, I think he's meant to be pronounced as he said it himself. Sesko.
Have you done a lemonade joke with it yet?
Yeah, we've done loads of them.
I thought so.
Almost too many. It's leaving a sour taste in the mouth at this point.
Well played.
We're going to start from the back and work forward. So let's start with the goalkeepers. We've got 4, Steve, which I think is more than we need.
I think we're going to see if we can get away with putting one in a red shirt with gloves on.
With gloves.
And figuring out if we can get him in the net at some point.
Can we just elect at each part of the game who our keeper is? Does it have to stay as the same person?
Now, I've not read all of the Premier League rules, but I don't think it specifically mentions rush keeper is disallowed.
See? Let's get a new one in every time the ball comes in.
What
if it
is
goes
the
to the near
actual
post,
wording?
Onana can have it. If it goes to the back post, Bayendir or Lomans can have it. I like that.
I wonder what the actual wording is, because I bet it says something like a nominated keeper.
Yeah, predetermined or nominated or something like that.
And I wonder if you can, like, every time the ball goes out.
Yeah, he's the keeper now. Harry Maguire's the new keeper.
What if they did what George Campos used to do? So George Campos used to have like an outfield shirt with number 1 underneath his playing kit, and then it would sometimes sub on another keeper and he would go and play up front. What if we did something like that? It's time to bring innovation back to the game, Joe.
Yeah, but the other way around. So one of our outfield players has got a goalie shirt underneath.
Yeah.
And sometimes for the really tough corners against like Arsenal, you put Casemiro in there, and he's just elbows and teeth coming through Saliba, and he just wins the ball.
Do you know what? I'm not going to call myself a revolutionary. I'll let the audience do that.
Yeah.
But
that's not for you to say.
Yeah, it's not for me to say. I will happily accept that accolade.
Yeah.
But maybe this is the next innovation in football.
Maybe it is. Because one goalkeeper is so 1856.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bring it back to 2025.
Yeah, come on, let's think outside the box. Or actually, let's think inside the box.
Let's really think about inside the box.
Inside the 6 bloody yard box. How do you rank our goalkeeping lineup? And why is it so big?
It's what we've gone with. Some people prefer quality over quantity.
No.
Not us.
Rubbish.
We've gone with quantity over quality.
Yeah.
One player, really good, or 4, not quite good enough.
Yeah.
Yesterday's prices at tomorrow's keepers today.
Exactly. Do you like Lommans? Because he's the unknown here, isn't he? Heaton just isn't a factor. It doesn't seem to matter how bad Onana and Bayindir is. Heaton doesn't play. Bayindir, really poor against Arsenal. Quite poor against Fulham. Not great against Burnley.
Well, 2 shots they had.
Yeah, and scored 2 goals. Onana, very poor against Grimsby and other games last season. Is it just a case of Lommans comes in? Is that going to be enough? Or do you worry that if you just chuck him in against City and go enjoy yourself, then he might get crushed under that weight as well?
I don't know how much of a maniac he is. Generally, keepers are at least 4 or 5 on the skin, out of a 10 scale, aren't they? If anyone could survive the confidence rocking that an absolute shagging at City could deliver, and you've got to remember within a month we're at Anfield as well, and let's be honest, we've had 1 or 2 of those there recently.
Yeah.
If anyone could survive that, it is a crazy goalkeeper. I don't know enough about this kid to know where he lies on the mental scale. I still think he's below potentially all 3 of our goalkeepers. I definitely think he's certainly one for the future. There are some redeeming factors of him. He does seem quite good at crosses. He's also had some clangers. He's also thrown it in a couple of times, looking at some of the clips of him. You know, I haven't watched a single full 90 minutes of him. I've just gone and seen what everyone else has done, which is, poured over some of the highlight videos, checked out his data. There's obviously some stuff, like he had the most saves on earth last year. Okay, cool. Someone's got her. Might as well be him. He was in the 99th percentile when it came to crosses, and then the post-save expected goal minus goal stats, which is one that there's members of the audience there have just lost their fucking mind with the algebra in a stat. But again, he was 99th percentile for that.
What is that for people who don't get what you're saying there?
So the amount of goals that you've prevented minus the goals that you conceded post the shots that you've saved.
Okay.
It's pretty complicated. Now, if you've got a positive number, that's a positive. If you've got a negative, and I think Emi Martinez might have been like plus a quarter of a goal, maybe.
Okay. So pretty much bang on where you'd expect him to be.
A little bit better than just where you'd expect, yeah.
Yeah.
Onana for the last 365 days was just under.
Okay.
Hence his underperformance. Could have all come against Grimsby, in all honesty, that. Lemens, I think, was like plus 11.
Yeah.
There's a few of his data points which are genuine outliers, but not playing in the Premier League, that's a factor. And you have seen goalkeepers come from other leagues, and there is an adaptation time. Personally, think that he's definitely shown some promise, and there's potential in him. But right now, I still think he's probably under Onana. I don't know about Bayindir.
In terms of giving it an old school kind of school grade, our goalkeeping lineup roster, what would you give it?
C? D?
I was going to say C was almost higher than I was expecting. And is what would you have given it without a transfer, without Lommans?
See, I don't know if Lommans has actually levelled it up at all. Because here's the weird thing. I think he's going to play.
Yeah.
I think we've signed him to play him. At the start of the window, I didn't think that was going to be the case. It felt like he was going to be the backup. But then when you think, well, actually, Bayindir's played 3 Premier League games. Because he's clearly not good enough.
No.
I think Onana has at least shown that he can be a first-choice goalkeeper. Bayindir just has not.
Yeah.
For as poor as Onana certainly was against Burnley, and there was a couple of games last year that he didn't perform well in, I still think that, again, all I've ever said with him is that I think that some of people's analysis of him and reaction to him has been mad over-exaggerated. And there'll be people in the chat right now writing, he's the worst goalkeeper we've ever seen. He's not. And that's just proven my point. But he's not even the worst goalkeeper at the club right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how you've seen Bayindir and gone, he's better than Onana. But I wonder where, the things that we've conceded from, theoretically, Lamens is strong at. So that alone might prevent some stuff.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to come and he's going to have to put a bit of confidence back into that defence, because the defence looks very hesitant with both goalkeepers in there at the moment. He needs to come and clean some defenders, some attackers, referees,
the crowd,
ball boys, whoever. He just needs to come clean some people out, claim something with violence, and have people go, he's not messing about.
Yeah.
Because that's what it needs.
Because knees in the back, elbows in the side of the head, that kind of
Brian
stuff.
Deere getting boxed in because someone held his arm. Move.
Yeah.
Can you imagine someone doing that to Peter Schmeichel?
No.
He would have picked them up and put them on row 4. Yeah. That's what you've got to have. Show me a bit of that. And that'll probably go a long way. And I think that was a large factor in, I think, why a lot of people wanted Emi Martinez.
Yeah.
Because he would have come and done stuff like that. He's also going to throw it in his net a few times a season. But, people talked about his character more because his goalkeeping ability didn't match it. Yeah. And character does help with a goalkeeper.
So we're going D for the goalkeeping lineup. Let's look at the defence, and I'm going to put the wing backs in this. I know we could have gone either way with them, but I'll put them as defenders because I think for now most of ours.
Let's do a separate category for wing backs.
Okay, let's do that then. So we've got the centre backs. So you've got, obviously, I don't need to go through all of them. The ones that have been starting most games so far have been Luke Shaw, De Ligt, and Yoro. We've obviously got Maguire in there. We've got Aiden Heaven in there. Lissandro Martinez hasn't even played a minute yet this season. Mizrahi can play there as well. What do you make of our centre-backs? Are they good enough to be part of a European team?
Yes.
You've always been relatively up on the centre-backs, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm more or less like what we've got there. And I think particularly once Lissandro Martinez comes back, I think in Euro you've got a very, very high ceiling, potential world-class player. I don't think he is world-class. I think he's a potential world-class. I think he's had a good start to the season. I wouldn't call his performances world-class yet. I think they've been good, very good even, but not quite world-class. He's got to shut down some better opposition than we've come up against so far. Once he starts doing that, and he does that for 2, 3, 4, 5 months consistently, because I remember Chris Smalling doing that under Louis van Gaal, having a 3 or 4 month period where they just looked sensational, even if he looked like he was going to dislocate his hip when he passed it 5 yard. But from a defender's point of view, he looked phenomenal. So you've got to put together a real consistent run for a decent amount of time before you can start being called world class. So I don't think he is world class yet. I think he absolutely has all the traits to become world class, and he's still so young.
Still 19.
Yeah,
he's younger than Mainu.
Yeah,
it's mad how young he is.
Yeah,
and just plays every game, and you don't worry about him.
No, you don't worry about him in the slightest. I think Matthias De Ligt. I think he's brilliant. I love watching him.
Yeah,
he's proper throwback.
I think he goes under the radar. How good he is.
Yeah, I think he is defence first.
Yeah,
throwback in that sense, almost Vidic-esque in terms of he'll head anything. I think he has that sort of last ditch defending instinct in him really well as well. Yeah, I like everything about him. He's absolutely a starter, and I think he starts in a lot of generations of United teams as well. I don't think he's Rio Vidic, Stam level. Not many are.
Yeah.
But I think he's very good. Left side centre half. I think Mizrahi does a real solid job. I think Mizrahi could probably play a lot of positions. Maybe not the 10, Eric, but he can play a lot of positions because I think he's an intelligent footballer, and he seems to get involved in and win a lot of his duels, which is a mad underestimated trait. He could play left side or right side, and I think he fills in real nice either way. He could probably fill in and probably plays more, I would imagine, as a wing back for us when it's time to maybe be a back five rather than 2 offensive wing backs. Ahmad, for example.
Yeah,
I like him. I think his versatility is his strength. Martinez, again, another one that probably at one point was potential world class. He might just sit just under that now because the injuries have not allowed him to have the consistency that you would hope him to have. But still a real solid player and a great character, and a leader, and someone that's going to have the right sort of mentality when he steps out onto the pitch. And then I think Luke Shaw, okay, suitable for a backup, can play that role fine. Maguire, ditto, suitable for a backup, can play that role fine. Aiden Heaven, some really good physical traits, some real good reading of the game. Just underneath, like a similar style of player to Euro on the opposite side, but probably quite a way off him in terms of ability.
Yeah, not quite as finessed yet, is he?
No, but I think there's a future starter in him.
Yeah.
I don't quite think he's got future world class in him. I think he's got future good Premier League player in him, which is fine. That's a good place for him to be. And maybe by the end of the season he might find himself starting regular because Luke Shaw's due an injury. Martinez could get injured.
Maguire's at the end of his contract this year as well.
Yeah, so I think you have to have a bit of a hierarchy in terms of your defence, especially when you've got 6 or 7 of them. Like, they can't all 7 of them think that they're the best defender at the club that should start every week because it's not going to work, is it? So I think it's nice that we've got a little bit of an expectation of, I would think Lenny Euro would probably, and De Ligt might think that they should start every single week, and that's fine. So overall, I would say we're probably at like a B. I think good depth, good quality, good sort of blend of expectation for them all. B.
Yeah, I like that. I agree with you. I think we've got, like you said, you've got a good variety of types as well. And I think once maybe another window of maybe one more future-proof kind of top-level physical centre-back, another Euro, if that player exists, maybe a 24-year-old version for 40 million instead of a 19 or an 18-year-old for 60 million, that can come in and just be a Premier League ready, athletic, sort of well-read midfielder, who reads the game well, defender. I think you've got a really good back line on your hands there. Wing backs, we've only signed one so far, and it's one of the most important sort of positions in this formation. Dorgu obviously had a little bit of back and forth in terms of people appreciating him, not appreciating him. People seem to be generally liking him again. And then on the other side, you've got Dallo, Ahmad, as you mentioned. Mazraoui can kind of do a bit of both. What are your thoughts on the wing back roles?
I like Dorgu. I think he's a very honest, functional sort of player. Another one that I think is probably not world class. He's not world class. Let's take the probably out of it. He's not world class. I think he's one that's going to deliver you a very honest, workmanlike performance. He's going to have some times where his first touch goes out for a throw-in. He's going to have some times where he's able to knock it first time, pass someone and deliver a cross that makes you go, fucking hell, where's that come from? Yeah. But I think there'll be inconsistencies because his ability is probably capped at another one that ends up as like good Premier League sort of level rather than genuine world class. Dalot, I think, has not really, weirdly as well, because I think that of anyone that in this team, he's probably the one that played like wing back more than anyone else at the club, and he's just not taken to it. His performances are probably underwhelmed consistently since Amorim arrived. I think he had his best performances under Eric Ten Hag. He could be argued.
Yeah, I would agree. Weirdly, I didn't think he actually looked bad against Burnley. I thought he actually got in behind and had a bit of penetration from the left. That
run that he does, which only he does, where he runs sort of like centrally, and he does get picked out when he does it, is a brilliant weapon. Yeah. I don't understand why it's only him that does it.
No.
But yeah, I tend to agree. He did look decent against Burnley. If he put that level of performance in, week out, you could probably go, okay, he will do, but he doesn't. Mazraoui, I think, if you're going to play off the back foot, that's a great option for wing back. If you're going to play a back five, he absolutely works because he is just the widest centre half. Yeah. He's in a different channel than he probably wants to be, but he works. He kind of looks like a bit of a fish out of water when you ask him to be the offensive wing back. That's like taking people on and putting crosses in. Doesn't look like that comes as naturally to him. Hakimi, he is not.
No.
But I like him generally. And I think if you're going to be up against it, he will win you a lot of balls. And if you put him against the winger and ask him to do a job, he'll do a decent job of it. But don't expect to be a bit lopsided because he's not going to get forward with the same impetus. And then Ahmad.
Interesting one, Ahmad, isn't it? Because he's the one who, of all those players, I think United fans think he can be the best player. but he's kind of been told to play out of his natural position, either as a 10 or as a wing back. And obviously, we're 3 games in, but the games against Fulham and Grimsby in particular, he didn't look particularly good. Obviously, we all like Ahmad, but where do you think he fits in all this?
Well, it was a strange one that he signed Mbeumo because realistically they are very, very similar players. I think Mbeumo has a bit more of a direct threat, whereas Ahmad does like it to feet a little bit more, perhaps.
Yeah.
Both of them could probably play in each other's position, and maybe that was something that they thought of when they said, well, let's get him in and see what he can do. It might take a while for them to not be in each other's space, because that seems to be the issue at the moment, is that they seem to be making the same runs, occupying the same spaces. You can't really have that. You can't both be effective doing that. So maybe it's just a time thing. Maybe it's a bit of an analysis. Maybe it's a bit of them two getting some time on the training pitch to work out each other's body language and cues. And actually, when I see him turn like that, generally that means he's going to drop. If I see him sort of like occupying this space, I think he's going to make the run in behind. How can I support him when he does that, and vice versa? When I see him having his hips in this direction, I think he's going to go around the outside. When he does, I'll roll in on the inside. Defence is going to be confused. Yeah. We should end up in some space by doing that. It might just be reps. I think they're both intelligent players.
Yeah.
And I think that they'll figure it out, but it might just take a minute. York and Cole didn't start off great. It was months, wasn't it? A couple of months before they even got a run out together. So it might just be one of them that the more 9v9s, 11v11s that they play in training, they might start going, I get it. They might lend it and get it back, and they might start to really feed off each other a little bit. But yeah, again, not really natural in that position. Certainly someone that's kind of making do. So I would have to say wing backs as a whole position, it's got to be no more than a C, really. If you'd have signed a Frimpong, you might have gone, oh, okay, that's a... if you had a couple of people on that sort of level, that's a bit different in it than maybe what we have got.
Moving into the central midfield then, and this is obviously an area that United know we're weak in. Everyone on Twitter is screaming that we're weak in. I think United decided, I think it was Laurie wrote an article, that it was either going to be a 6 or a 9. We kind of were capping out cash-wise at one or the other. We went for a 9 in Sesko, the number 6 area, or just that general area. We've had this Mainu sort of argument, if you want to call it that. We've had Ugarte, is he good enough? Is Bruno out of position? Is Casemiro too old? And then that's the midfield. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I see 4 decent players that you could probably make a functional midfield 3 from.
Yeah.
But we don't play a midfield 3. We play a 2. So I see 4 players that are not really a natural fit. Now, perhaps you can come up with a way that makes sense for certain games. Anfield away, Etihad away.
Yeah.
Do you want to play Bruno alongside one other? Or does Bruno move up onto the next line? Personally, would move him up onto the next line and go with 2 midfielders. Probably like an Ugarte, Casemiro. Something like that. And but what you're essentially doing there is making a midfield 3.
Yeah.
I think you've got 4 players who are individually quite good players. Again, world class, maybe Bruno. Certainly world class in terms of chance creation. Certainly a world class number 10. Is he a world class 8 or 6? I don't think he is. So he's always going to play. What you play alongside him is always going to be someone either trying to adapt or that's not quite the right fit. So I think from a midfield, that 4, because let's be honest, it is literally that 4.
Yeah.
Maybe you find Mason Mount playing in there.
Yeah, Mount did play there for a few minutes, but then he got subbed off, didn't he, eventually? I don't think it's sustainable.
I think it's a D.
It's weird, isn't it? Because like you said, any one of those alongside a different midfielder could all of a sudden be a B. Whereas, maybe not Ugarte, I know people have questions about him, but like with the 4 we have, trying to make that into 2 is really a struggle, isn't it, to give it any more than that. The number 10s then. So this is where it kind of gets a bit more exciting for me. I think you've got Cunha, you've got Mbeumo, obviously they seem to be the ones for now. Then you've got Mason Mount, who has shown kind of what he's about a little bit more this season. Bruno Fernandes, again, depending on what happens behind him, could go back to being a top player there. Ahmad could come in there as well. Xerxes can play there. It's by far the most sort of stacked part of the pitch, I would say. Do you think it's good enough, though?
Yeah, I think it's good enough. I think it's good enough to move us up from 15th, for sure. Yeah. I don't think any of them are Wayne Rooney. I think he would be like, you imagine a prime Wayne Rooney in this system, in one of those spots, left side slot maybe. Unbelievable. Perfect for him. Literally like a position made for him. Do you know when people was like, is he a 9 or is he playing in the 10? Like, didn't quite work. That would.
Yeah.
So I can't give it an A. I think you have to give it a B because the depth's there, the quality's there, the range is there with, so many different sorts of players that are in there. I think that position is probably a B.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really good. I think it's the one that requires the least discussion because, like you said, you've just got options. And Burma and Cunha can both get goals. Bruno can get goals. It presses well. It defends quite well. Yeah, very, very big fan. The number 9 area then, because this is another one. Sesko, I think some people are trying to sort of call him Højlund 2.0 just after 90 minutes against Grimsby. But it, depending on what you consider Xerxes to be, it sort of is only Sesko. And then you stick in one of the number 10s in there if not. How do you assess that number 9 area?
I want to say C as a grade. A would be, 2 or 3 options with one of them being world class. You'd call that A, wouldn't you? So if that was like Ruud, Louis Saha and Danny Welbeck, you'd go, that's probably an A. We're all right in that position. You've got your first choice, you've got your immediate backup, who's really good, and then you've got a youngster that's 18, 19 coming through. We're all right in that area. And we're not all right in that area. You've kind of got Chido, who looks like he's seen his ass for not playing against Grimsby. You've got Sesko, who's not started a game, so the jury is not just out, it's not even been selected yet. And then you don't really have a viable... Sesko's got injured, who plays sort of backup. So I think C at best.
Just on Sesko specifically, because we've not spoken since we've seen him play a little bit, do you worry for him that, not that he's the same player as Højlund, I'm not talking about comparing them two as players, but that he will come to have similar outcomes this season in terms of his goal scoring and his chances because we still are struggling to find the ball in that area?
No, I disagree that we're struggling to find the ball in that area.
Okay, great.
He came on the other day, he had 2 shots.
Mm-hmm.
He had 6 shots against Grimsby.
Yeah.
That's 8 shots in a week. I'll wait while you go and find how long it took Højlund to get 8 shots.
I mean, what I would say is, if you take the Barnsley game of the Carabao Cup out last season...
Or even... Oh, right.
Do you know what I mean? When we scored, was it 7 goals we got? And Garnacho got sort of 3 or 4 in that time. I think he got the same for the rest of the season. So I'm not discounting Grimsby because it did happen, but do you think that will translate to Premier League games?
Well, he's come off the bench and got 2 against a Burnley defence, which people can besmirch all they want, but he only conceded 16 goals in the Championship last year.
Okay.
He struggled against Arsenal, sure, but even against Fulham, we were shit against Fulham, but his movement was still... I thought significantly better than what you saw from Højlund. I don't think it's even comparable. That the only way that he's performing better than Gyökeres, but Gyökeres has got a goal to his name, so people have stopped talking about him. He's performing significantly better than Gyökeres is. Significantly better. The second he scores, he's not going to stop, and then that's that.
Love it. Right, cheers, Steve. Thank you for joining us at home as well. Get your thoughts in the comments below. My final question for you, Steve: will we get European football this season?
I don't know.
Yeah, go on. Which side do you fall? I know you're not being emphatic, definite, but what's your gut telling you?
Yeah, I think we're going to figure it out.
Love that. Right, thanks for joining us. We'll see you in a bit.